House GOP obsesses over mirage of a backroom deal doc. It's the 3-page document everyone in Washington is talking about, except it may not even exist. Speaker Kevin McCarthy and his GOP allies insist that no backroom promises were made to land his gavel after 15 frenetic ballots, that no plum committee spots, precise spending cuts, or debt limit strategy were guaranteed in a quid pro quo. Agreements and goals were reached with conservatives who initially withheld their votes from the speaker, GOP leaders say, but nothing was formalized in writing. McCarthy made his denial of any backroom agreement plain on Thursday, telling reporters, "There's not a side deal to anything." But that doesn't change the reality outlined earlier by Representative Dave Joyce, Republican Ohio, who leads the Republican governance group. There's all these people talking about a document that doesn't exist. But the debate surrounding the document has exposed a trust problem days into McCarthy's speakership. There's plenty of paper flying around summarizing handshake deals between the speaker and his members, and some GOP lawmakers have muddled their leader's message by talking candidly about what they secured in exchange for their speaker votes. That boasting has heightened worries within the conference about working together in good faith for the next 2 years. Nearly a full week after McCarthy's battle played out in extraordinarily public fashion, lawmakers in his conference are still striving to learn details of what's been promised and to whom. You've got members who don't believe other members because they read something. It's about trust. You either trust people or you don't, Joyce said. The situation has grown more complicated this week, as GOP leadership outlined the concessions that it prefers to interpret as agreements and as some House Republicans open up about what they got from last week's frenetic talks. One McCarthy holdout, Representative Byron Donalds, Republican Florida, bluntly told Fox News when asked what did you get that he would join the influential GOP steering committee as Speaker McCarthy's designee. McCarthy also informed members that the House would take its first ever vote this Congress on a contentious national sales tax bill that Georgia Republicans, including McCarthy dissenter Representative Andrew Clyde, Republican Georgia, have pushed for decades. That was part of the negotiation. The 20 conservatives who were holding out, one of the things that they wanted was to see it come to the floor for a vote, Representative Buddy Carter, Republican Georgia, said. Clyde, though, wouldn't confirm any link between the tax bill and his speaker vote. "It's a promise I made to my district. I have no comment on anything else." Another McCarthy promise was to diversify the membership on coveted House panels, which in practice means adding more Freedom Caucus members and other conservatives. That has begun to happen. 4 speaker race holdouts, Clyde, Donalds, Representative Michael Cloud, Republican Texas, and Representative Andy Ogles, Republican Tennessee, were awarded spots on prime committees on Wednesday. Cloud and Clyde will serve on the powerful appropriations panel, while Donalds and Ogles will serve on financial services. Several more committees will set their rosters next week. Still, Clyde stressed, there's no secret rules addendum. There's just an agreement. The rumored existence of a binding secret document, however, prompted multiple GOP lawmakers to approach their leaders about it, texting each other in search of the missing paper. Some, like Representative Nancy Mace, RSC, took issue with the behind-the-scenes talks, according to an email to constituents that was obtained by Politico. Certain members of Congress were also trying to jump to the front of the line to be placed on committees they didn't earn, and dictate what bills should be considered on the floor without input from any of the 200 Republican members of Congress. Some sort of deal was hashed out for the majority of the 20 to vote for McCarthy as Speaker. But this deal was crafted in private, behind closed doors, Mace wrote. Members who asked about a binding document of concessions were told it did not exist. Representative Chip Roy, Republican Texas, one of the right flank's chief negotiators with McCarthy, said K Street lobbyists had circulated a document last week claiming it listed out the conference's agreements in full, including some he had never seen before. "That wasn't any part of our conversation. Somebody else must be saying that out there," Roy said of the document he heard was getting passed around K Street. "There was a handshake agreement that we would carry forward with what we talked about," he added. "We had general agreement that we need to have a reflection in the Rules Committee, conservative representation." Some House Republicans argue that the most divisive of the concessions floating around are aspirational, particularly on issues like spending and the debt limit, which would need to get buy-in from the Democratic Senate and White House to go anywhere. 3 Republican lawmakers said GOP leaders did put something in writing. It was a PowerPoint slideshow presented to members at Tuesday's conference meeting. "He went through the agreement at conference. He had it all on the PowerPoint," said one McCarthy ally, speaking on the condition of anonymity. The Speaker's allies have also privately briefed members who raised concerns about potential side deals. Some GOP lawmakers believe the miscommunication about a comprehensive 3-page document may have started from notes members took in negotiations that somehow trickled to other hands. "I asked what was agreed on and I got the full briefing. It wasn't a document, but they said, this is what we agreed on," Representative Don Bacon, Republican Nebraska, said. He added that he was concerned, for instance, with how many conservatives would sit on the House Rules Committee. He was told 3, per the agreement. And after the Rules Panel's chairman, Representative Tom Cole, Republican Oklahoma, said he was fine with it, Bacon said he was, too. I haven't seen the document, but maybe the 20 people put together their own document on what was agreed upon, Bacon said. And in a particularly conspicuous detail for some Republicans involved in the process, 2 of the vocal McCarthy holdouts and chief speakership negotiators, Roy and Freedom Caucus Chair Representative Scott Perry, RPA, did not push for any targeted goodies for themselves, according to McCarthy ally Representative Patrick McHenry, RNC.
As Speaker of the House, my ultimate responsibility is not to my party, my conference, or even our Congress. My responsibility, our responsibility, is to our country. Two months ago, you voted for a new direction for our country. You embraced our commitment to America, and now we're going to keep our commitment to you. We pledged to cut the regulatory burden, lower energy costs for families, and create good-paying jobs for workers by unleashing reliable, abundant, American-made energy. I know the night is late, but when we come back, our very first bill will repeal the funding